Meet Marcus. He's 34 years old. He makes $68,000 a year doing something in operations that sounds important when he explains it and immediately becomes unclear when he stops. He has a decent apartment, a car that starts every time, a streaming subscription he actually uses, and a group of friends he genuinely likes. By most measures, Marcus is doing fine. That's the problem. Marcus has $4,900 in savings, not investments. Savings. In a high-yield savings account earning 4.5%, which means it's generating about $189 a year. He's been working for 11 years. He's been doing fine the entire time. And fine, it turns out, is the most expensive condition a person can be in financially. Here's the thing about comfort. It doesn't feel like a trap while you're in it. It feels like stability. It feels like you've figured something out. It feels like you've earned the right to coast a little. And that feeling, that specific, warm, deeply satisfying feeling of financial okayness, is quietly costing you more per month than your rent. My name is Grant Walker, and on this channel I break down the math that most personal finance YouTube won't show you because it's uncomfortable. Hit subscribe before we get into this, because what I'm about to walk you through is the reason most people who earn good money spend their entire careers with almost nothing to show for it. Let's go. Before we go further, I want to know something. On a scale of 1 to 10, how financially comfortable do you feel right now? Genuinely. Comment your number, because by the end of this video, you might want to update it. Now listen, if you've ever thought I'm not rich but I'm doing okay, this video is specifically for you. Not for people who are struggling, for people who are coasting. Because struggling people know they need to change something. Comfortable people don't. And that's exactly why the trap works. Let's define what I mean by the comfort trap. It's not one thing. It's 3 distinct mechanisms operating simultaneously, and most people are caught in all 3 without realizing any of them exist. There's a cost to the comfort trap that I'm going to show you in exact dollar terms by the end of this video. A number that's going to make you want to do something differently tomorrow morning. Stick with me. Mechanism 1. Income comfort. This is the most expensive of the 3, and it's the one nobody talks about, because it requires you to be uncomfortable in a very specific, very public way. 80% of employees who receive a raise in a given year say they felt the raise was appropriate or fair. That same survey from Glassdoor in 2023 found that 73% of those employees had not negotiated their raise at all. They accepted the first number offered, which means 3/4 of the American workforce is letting someone else decide what their labor is worth in the single most important financial conversation they'll have all year. Here's the math on what that costs over a career. If you earn $68,000 at 34 and you accept average annual raises of 3% without negotiating, you'll earn approximately $3.2 million over the next 30 years. If you negotiate successfully for 5% annual increases, which research from George Mason University shows is achievable for most office workers with minimal pushback, you'll earn approximately $4.5 million over the same period. Same job, same career, same coffee machine in the break room. $1.3 million difference. From one conversation per year that most people are too comfortable to have. Income comfort doesn't feel like a trap because your income is growing. It's just not growing as fast as it could. And the gap between what you're making and what you could be making compounds exactly the same way investments do. The cost of comfort on your income side is not the money you're not earning right now. It's the compound growth of all those future dollars starting today. Mechanism 2. Spending comfort. This one is subtler, and it's the one Marcus lives in most dangerously. When Marcus got his first real job at 23, he made $42,000. He had a studio apartment. He cooked most of his meals. He watched his money closely because he had to. Then he got promoted. Then he got a raise. Then he moved to a bigger apartment because he'd earned it. Then he started getting takeout twice a week because he was busy. Then he leased a better car because the commute was long and he deserved to be comfortable. Each individual upgrade made sense at the time. Each one was reasonable. None of them was extravagant. Together, they added up to what economists call lifestyle inflation. And it's the single biggest reason people with good incomes build almost no wealth. Research from Fidelity tracking 5,000 households over a decade found that Americans increased their spending by 70 cents for every dollar of additional income they received. 70 cents. On average, for every raise, bonus, or income increase, 70% of it was absorbed into a higher lifestyle. Only 30% made it to savings or investments. Marcus isn't spending irresponsibly, he's spending comfortably. And the difference between responsible spending and comfortable spending is approximately $1,100 a month leaving his account quietly, accumulating no interest, building no position, moving him no closer to any kind of financial independence. Think about someone in your life who got a significant raise in the last 3 years. Do they seem meaningfully wealthier now than they were before the raise? Or did their apartment, their car, their dinner habits, and their vacation frequency all quietly scale up to absorb the new income? That's spending comfort, and it's invisible while it's happening. There's a third mechanism, and it's the one I think is the most insidious. I'm going to come back to it after I show you the math on the first two, because the number is the thing that actually motivates change. Keep watching. Mechanism 3. Investment comfort. And this is the one that keeps Marcus from building any wealth even in the years where he actually saves something. Marcus has that $4,200. He knows he should invest it. He's been meaning to invest it. It's been sitting in the high-yield savings account for 2 years because he hasn't gotten around to picking the right investment, and he doesn't want to put it somewhere wrong. And he read an article about market volatility last fall that made him nervous, and he figures he'll start properly when he has a better handle on things. This is investment paralysis dressed as prudence, and it has a precise cost. $4,300 invested in an S&P 500 index fund at the historical 10% annual average return, left completely alone for 30 years, approximately $73,400. $4,200 sitting in a savings account at 4.5% for 30 years, approximately $15,900. The gap between those two outcomes isn't intelligence, it isn't talent, it isn't access to special information. It's the decision to be comfortable rather than decisive. One button click is the difference between $15,900 and $73,400. And that's just the $4,200 Marcus already has. Add the $1,100 per month he'd free up if he addressed Mechanism 2. Invest that for 30 years at 10%. That's $2.3 million. Marcus isn't going to retire comfortably on $2.3 million in most of the country, but he's currently on track to retire with almost nothing. The gap between those two scenarios isn't luck, timing, or circumstance. It's the comfort trap. I want to ask you something directly. Which of these three mechanisms, income, spending, or investment comfort, do you think hits you hardest right now? Comment. Income, spending, or investment. I genuinely want to know where people are stuck. Now let me show you what breaking out of this looks like in practice, because I don't want to end this video with you feeling bad about Marcus. I want to show you what happens when Marcus notices the trap. His college roommate, Derek, made $52,000 at the same age Marcus made $42,000. By every visible measure, Derek was worse off. Smaller apartment, older car. Always the one suggesting the cheaper restaurant. Here's what Derek was doing that Marcus wasn't. Derek was treating his financial life like a business. Every year, he negotiated his salary, not always successfully, but consistently. He kept his housing cost below 25% of his take-home pay, even as his income grew. He invested $800 a month from the age of 24, regardless of what the market was doing. Now they're both 34. Marcus, who always seemed to be doing better, has $4,200. Derek, who always seemed to be struggling a little, has $134,000 invested. Not because Derek had a secret, because Derek was never comfortable enough to stop being intentional. Let me run the actual numbers on what that $134,000 becomes. At 60, invested at 8% conservative returns, Derek's portfolio is worth approximately $850,000. If Marcus starts now, today, contributes $800 a month, and earns the same 8%, he'll have approximately $670,000 at 60. A $180,000 gap from starting 10 years later. Same income, same city, same generation. A decade of comfortable delay is worth $180,000. The comfortable version of your life is cheaper in the short term and catastrophically expensive in the long term. The math doesn't care that each individual decision seemed reasonable. It only tracks the compound result. Now, the contrarian take I promised. Ready? The best financial thing that can happen to some people is losing a job they liked, not because unemployment is good, because the comfort trap requires stability to function. When stability disappears, people renegotiate leases. cut subscriptions, pick up side income, and start taking their finances seriously in a way that comfort never allowed. Financial disruption is painful, but it's often the only thing that breaks the anesthesia of doing fine. I'm not telling you to manufacture a crisis. I'm telling you that the urgency most people feel after a job loss, that sharpness, that budgetary precision, doesn't require a crisis to activate. It requires a decision to treat your financial life like it matters before the circumstances force you to. Here's the action framework. 3 moves, specific, possible tomorrow. Move 1. Set your income floor. Pull up your last performance review. Write down what you were offered, then write down what you could have asked for. Schedule the next conversation for 6 months from now with a specific number in it. Not a range. A number? This single move, consistently applied over a career, is worth more than any investment strategy I could give you. Move 2. Run the $1,000 test. Look at the last 30 days of your bank statement and find the $1,000 in spending that you wouldn't miss if it disappeared. Not the things that make your life good. The things that snuck in when your income went up and just stayed. One subscription you forgot about. One habit that scaled with your income. One category that went from occasional to automatic. Find the $1,000. Move it to a brokerage account this week. Move 3. Automate the discomfort. Set up an automatic investment transfer of whatever amount makes you slightly nervous. Not crippling. Slightly nervous. Because slightly nervous is the outer edge of your comfort zone. And the outer edge of your comfort zone is exactly where wealth is built. Back to Marcus. He did the math I just showed you. Income gap over his career if he keeps not negotiating. Roughly $400,000 in lifetime earnings. Spending comfort cost $1,100 a month for the last 5 years, not invested, which at 8% annual return he'll never get back, is approximately $82,000 in lost compound growth. Investment paralysis cost on his existing $42,900. Roughly $57,000 in the difference between where he'll end up and where he could. Combined, Marcus's comfort has cost him approximately $539,000. In decisions that each felt completely reasonable. That's the comfort trap. It doesn't steal from you dramatically. It just keeps you exactly where you are while the people around you who stopped coasting get further away. Before I go, tell me one thing you're going to do differently this week. One specific thing. Comment it here. Not for me. For yourself. Because the act of writing it down publicly increases follow-through by 42% according to a study from the Dominican University of California. Use the comment section. Marcus is going to be okay, by the way. He watched a video. He ran the numbers. He got uncomfortable. He made a budget for the first time in 4 years. He scheduled a salary conversation for next quarter. He opened a brokerage account and put the $4,200 in a Vanguard index fund. He still feels comfortable. But now it's a choice, not a default. That's the only difference between people who build wealth and people who wonder where the money went. I'll see you in the next one. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This content is for educational purposes only.